Okay, so I play the queen's pawn opening. My opponent sacrifices this pawn, which is called the Englund Gambit. They defend it like this. I defend it again. And now they go for this queen move. A lot of people would put their bishop on f4, defending the pawn. But a better way to provoke the queen, since the queen is here, and the queen doesn't want to take the pawn because the knight's there, and also with the bishop on g5, when he puts you in check and tries to start the Englund Gambit, your bishop is actually not targeted at that point if he plays some other move order. So this is the best move instead of playing f4. So it puts you in check. Now you attack the queen. Now if they take, you can't put your bishop on c3 because they're going to pin it with their bishop, and if you take their bishop, they take your rook, so you're not really defending the rook if you put your bishop on c3. So to really defend your rook, you actually have to put your knight on c3. Now, a lot of the times they'll follow up with either knight to b4 or bishop to b4. In this case, my opponent played bishop to b4. You attack the queen. The queen has to go to a3. It's his only square if he doesn't want to lose his queen. You play d5. Knight to d5. Now, if they bring the bishop back, I believe you have some sort of a rook attack. I think if they go up here like this, you bring your rook in like that. But that didn't happen in the game anyways. I'm thankfully, because I don't actually know that line very well. So he takes the bishop, and he's going to win my a2 pawn here too, because I have to take back with the queen. He takes my a2 pawn. That allows me to get my rook on d1. In a lot of lines, actually, if the king is on d8, I can a lot of the time sacrifice my knight, and when he takes the knight with his king, you can play queen to d6, putting him in check. And a lot of the times his king will have to move to b6, and he's getting checkmated, especially with this bishop on this diagonal. And your queen on d6 is very strong, and a lot of times you'll checkmate him if you do a sacrifice like that. So he defends it with his king. But the problem with defending with the king is that opens up the knight to come in to g5. So I go knight to g5. He defends it with his knight on h6. So he's defending the f7 pawn now. In this position, I've looked at this position before, and if I play this pawn move and he takes it, I can sacrifice the knight. And if he takes back, this knight move will win the queen, because he's in check and he can block it with his queen. But if he blocks it, I can take it with the knight. If the pawn takes, the queen takes, and my queen and the rook there, very powerful. He hasn't developed many of his pieces, and he's in check, and his king is just on the center of the board. It's very bad, and be an easy win from here. But my opponent resigned at this point.